let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's New Features webinar, the very first of 2024, and I'm so excited to show you all the new and much anticipated features that were released this past month. I am Shannon, a customer experience advocate here at monday.com, and I'd like to introduce my colleagues Amir and Katie, who will be supporting today's webinar and answering your questions in real time. So feel free to send in questions as soon as they come up. Thank you both to Amir and Katie. We definitely appreciate you both for being here. And again, I hope that you can all see and hear my screen. Feel free to turn on closed captioning as well. At any point, if you cannot hear or see my screen, please let us know in the chat box so we can address it promptly. And if you need to step away during the webinar, no worries at all. This session will be recorded for everyone to watch again and will be available on the monday.com Academy next week. Today's session will be made up of two parts. First, we'll take a look at all of our new features in action, and then we'll transition into a live Q&A to dive deeper into your questions. Throughout the demo, please add your questions to the dedicated Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. You'll see that it's located right next to the chat box. Instead, we'll be actively monitoring the Q&A box and not the chat box. So leave all your questions there. Amir and Katie will do their best to get through as many questions as they can. That said, there are a lot of us in attendance today, so if we don't get to your specific question, feel free to check out our user community at community.monday.com, and it's possible that someone may have already asked your question there. Of course, you can always reach out to us via live chat or email at support@monday.com. You may even come across me when you reach out. And finally, you'll receive an email with the recording of today's session and a CSAT survey within the next 3 business days. And we'd really appreciate it if you could complete the survey to help us continually improve these sessions. And before we dive in, just allow me a moment to provide you with an overview of our agenda. We have some really exciting releases to cover today. First, we are going to dive into board discussions, the ability to hide sub-item columns, notifications to indicate completed automation actions, a new and updated interface to add new items within my work, updates to Workforms, specifically the ability to duplicate questions, reorder single and multi-select questions, and hide answer options, along with new people and connect boards questions for Workforms. Additionally, there is a new and improved people filter for the workload view and widget, multi-dashboards within MondayDB, new permission settings to create open and closed workspaces, and 2 apps of the month, Bird's Eye View and Same Item Multiple Boards. So as you can see, a long list of features to cover today, and let's go ahead and see these features in action on the monday.com platform. Let's go right into the platform here. So here on the screen, you should see my board team tasks, and we're going to dive right into board discussions. So many of us are familiar with the update section here, this chat bubble icon, and it has always been a great place to centralize our messages or communication, files, and more specific to the items on your board. We utilize the update section to tie communication with our colleagues across our board. However, many of us may need to communicate with our colleagues at the macro level. For example, we may need to share a quick status update about what's being managed on our board overall. And so our developers have brought users' requests to fruition to address this need through board discussions. To start a board discussion, you'll navigate to the top of your board, just to the right of your board's title. You'll see this chat bubble icon, which should look very familiar to you. And clicking on this icon will allow you to share an update with all of your other board members. The user interface functions looks and function in the same way that the update section does. So as you can see, all of the different formatting options are here, along with the ability to number and bullet, hyperlink, create a checklist, add files, create and add a GIF if you so choose, and so forth. And let's say that I've just finished a meeting with my colleague Jonah, and there are some tasks that I'd like help adding to the board before I jump into my next meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and draft an update. Hey, and we'll use the at mention to notify everyone on this board. I just finished a meeting with Jonah and we'll need help adding these tasks before my next meeting. Let's go ahead and make a checklist. Task 1, Task 2, and Task 3. Oops. Thanks so much. Great. We'll send this update. And there it is, live and ready for the rest of my team to review. And you'll see that now there is a blue bubble icon where our board's discussion live. I think this is really phenomenal, especially for folks who have a busy day to day and just need to send quick messages to their colleagues. So now let's focus our attention to the contents of this board. The main table of a board, right? We are currently in the main table here, allows us to view all of the different columns at the item and sub-item level. So here I have all of my groups that have item level data, and specifically for this item, file requisitions, I have a sub-item level here. So on the main table, we have access to both. However, many of us create new board views to visualize our data in different ways or apply filters. On this board in particular, I've created additional board views to filter the assigned tasks for myself and my colleagues. And for those of us who want to curate a board view for a specific set of columns, hiding columns by using this hide button allows us to do so, but only at the item level. I'm going to navigate to my view, specifically Shannon's tasks, and here you'll notice that I have already hidden the person column here. I'll toggle back. And because this is my assigned view, it's not relevant for me to see that person column there. And I can collapse or hide that from my view. Now, if I expand my file requisitions view in a similar vein, I don't necessarily need to see this person column since I've already been assigned to the task. So using the hide button, I'm happy to share that it's possible to hide columns at the sub-item level as well. So as you can see here, I have deselected the person column for my view at the item level. And if I scroll down now, I have the ability to hide, deselect, select columns at the sub-item level. So we'll go ahead, deselect the person column here. If I wanted to, of course, I could deselect and select which columns I'd like to view at the sub-item as well. We'll save this to view, and there we have it. Perfect. Let's move on. I'll toggle back to our main table tab just so that you can see all of my groups. I'm going to collapse these two here, my daily and weekly tasks, and you can see that I have a group titled To Do and a group titled Completed. And for those of us who love automations, I share that love with you. However, there are many times where we open up a board and are surprised by missing items or how an automation was unknowingly triggered. On this board, I've programmed an automation to move an item from my to-do group to my completed group when I've changed the status to completed. And now we no longer have to search through all of our activity logs or sit in frustration to track changes made by our automations. When an automation moves an item to another group, deletes or archives an item, notifies a user, or creates another item on a different board, a pop-up will now appear at the bottom right-hand corner of the board. I'm going to trigger this automation in real time just so that you can see exactly what I'm referencing. Let's go ahead. We're going to change this item to completed. And now you'll see that this pop-up appears. The item has moved to the indicated group. And taking a closer look at this pop-up, we'll trigger this again, just so that it stays a little bit longer on screen for us. The pop-up informs us of the action that was completed, as we can see here, where the item has been moved to, and you can click on the hyperlinks here, automation and item, to reference where the item was moved to within the board, as well as the automation that triggered the action. You also have the option to review the run history for the automation and mute these notifications directly from the pop-up screen. I think this is really exciting, especially if you find yourself exceeding your automation actions per month. This pop-up will provide a more nuanced and intuitive way to navigate your usage tab as well. We're going to transition out of this board and over to My Work. If you're unfamiliar with My Work, you can locate it here in the upper left-hand corner of the board, right of the platform, my apologies, right under the Home button. And My Work, think of it as a page or main hub for all of your assigned items or tasks. I'm going to toggle over to this screen here. And you can review and update your assigned items directly from this page. For efficiency and ease now, instead of exiting My Work to locate the source board for the assigned items and add new items, now you can add new items directly from this page with an updated user interface. So if I click on the blue New Item button, you'll see that this pop-up screen looks a little different from what you may have been familiar with in the past. So not only can I, of course, name this new assigned item for myself, I can select the specific board that this new item will be created on, the specific group, and also assign a due date as necessary. I think this is pretty exciting. I'm always up for new user interface releases. So hopefully this is very useful to you as you can work directly from one page instead of toggling between your different boards. The next set of features in the long list of features that I listed are tied to Workforms. So let's sit tight. We're going to stay in the Workforms space for a while. The Workforms product, if I click on the blue plus icon here, you'll see that you can access it using this new form button. And Workforms allow you to create and use custom forms to collect, track, and analyze data and sync this data to your monday.com boards. I've already set up a form for us to review. I'll open it here, inventory order form. And let's say my use case is that I manage inventory for 4 different warehouses in the Midwest, as you can see here with my warehouse location question. And all of the inventory orders are submitted using this form, which is connected to my master inventory board here. As you can see, I have all of my inventory items with their unique IDs and all of our inventory numbers and metrics. And we'll be using these 2 boards as a foundation for our next set of features. We'll toggle back to our inventory order form. And scrolling down, you can see that I have quite a few questions. We have the standard full name, phone number, email, and a single select question. I'll open the form so that we can see these new releases up close and personal. So starting with the warehouse location question field, this is a single select question. And perhaps I want to reorder the labels. Maybe I want Cleveland to appear before Chicago, but additionally, as the company expands, I may need to add a few more locations or even hide some locations. Previously, this was not possible as answer options were restricted to the order they were created on the form. Additionally, you were not able to customize how answers were displayed. I'm very happy to share that all of these are now possible. Let's click in to edit the question. So as you can see, for both single and multi-select questions, you can easily arrange your answer options by dragging and dropping them into the desired order. So referencing the earlier example, I can drag and drop Cleveland right above Chicago if I so choose. And if I wanted to hide one of these answer options, you'll see that there is a hide option button here. And at any point, if I'd like to show that option again, I can click on the show option button. And this ensures that the form remains clean to the form submitter, the individual completing the form, but also remains relevant to your internal team to retain data for future analysis. And while we're here, I can introduce the new question settings. So using the question settings button in the right-hand corner, you can now toggle and choose to display your questions in a list, in a drop-down menu, or horizontally. I will have to refresh to show you these different display options, so bear with me. Let's publish this, save it, and go back. And sometimes Monday does not like to cooperate with me, but the settings are there, folks. You can, of course, toggle and save those settings as necessary. I'm wishing and hoping that Monday cooperates with you when you toggle through those settings on your end. And to wrap up the final features for the work forms, we are going to scroll down. And as I announced earlier, this is one of the most exciting feature releases for our forms, the ability to turn your people and connect board columns into your questions on your forms. So as you can see here, I have a manager people column that I've added here, as well as a Connect Boards column titled Inventory Items that I've included here as well. Users create forms on monday.com for a myriad of use cases, many for external use, like this inventory order form. And whatever your use case may be, this new feature enables all account users and external stakeholders to access the relevant columns on your boards to streamline your daily work. So before we enable these questions, we will need to set new permissions to our forms to open public access to these question fields. And this will require an admin user to update the administration settings. So I am going to toggle over to this view. And as an avatar, as an admin user, you're going to open up your avatar button here in the upper right-hand corner of the platform. We'll click on Administration, Customization, and Features. Within the Features tab, we'll scroll down until we reach this section here. Enable your account forms to be accessed by external people. And you'll see that there are two options, enabled and disabled. By default, your forms may read as disabled. You'll simply click on the enabled option here. And by selecting this option, now external stakeholders will have the ability to select the existing values from your people or connect boards column directly from your form. Of course, don't forget to save those changes once you change those options and settings here. We'll go back to our form. Of course, as I have them enabled, you can see that they are active and ready to use. If I share the link, you can see we'll pop it into this tab here. Let's log in. My apologies for the delay, folks. All right. So now that we're in, I have the inventory order form. Let's say I am a warehouse employee. Clicking on the manager and inventory item fields. These are our two new fields, the people and connect boards column fields. You'll see that when I click on the drop-down menu, I can select these values directly, which exist live on my board. And the same goes for the connect boards column field here. All of these are live inventory items that are housed in my master inventory board. We'll toggle back to the form. And let's review how all of this works together. So if I click on my main table tab, as I've mentioned, Workforms allow you to sync your data in real time to your boards. And so when a form response is submitted, it appears here in the main table tab of my forms board. It will populate in the incoming responses group here, but because my submitted order has already gone through the workflow, you'll see that it's been moved here via the automations that I've set up. But let's backtrack to the beginning of my flow. When a warehouse employee submits an order, I want to streamline our workflow as much as possible. Managers, of course, must review each form response and update our master inventory as orders are submitted. So as you can see, because I now have the ability to add my people column, manager, in my form, when a form response is submitted and they have selected the relevant manager, that manager is automatically assigned to the people column here. And to the right, you'll see that we have our Connect Boards column. And this Connect Boards column is connected to my master inventory board. Just to provide a quick reference, again, here are all of our items in inventory. And if I visit the form again, these are the two items that my employee selected within the form. And now they have been linked directly to the Connect Boards column here. And tied to that Connect Boards column, we have two mirror columns here, reserved and sent to site. So this helps to make my workflow a lot more efficient because instead of toggling between this form and my master inventory board as a manager, I can see, open up all of the relevant information for the linked items that my employee selected from that question field in the form. And by adding a mirror column to my forms board, I can update the number of reserved and the number of shipped items via these mirror columns here. So I think this is a tremendous update. It will help make so many of our workflows much more efficient and streamlined. I hope that you are all as stoked as I am about these two new features. We're going to keep the momentum going and transition over to dashboards. I'll open up this dashboard here, high level view. Today, I'm going to highlight a feature release tied to the Workload widget. And as you can see here, it is the first widget that appears on the dashboard. And with the Workload widget, I'm able to see a high-level view to track, my apologies, schedule, track, and allocate resources for my team. The Workload widget is available to users on the Pro and Enterprise plans, and it enables you to review the distribution of assigned tasks or projects, or the distribution of effort using a time tracking column. So as you can see here in my board, I've connected two boards to my dashboard. Specifically in the workload view, I can see all of the different managers from my master inventory and team task boards and which tasks they are assigned to. If I hover, you'll see all of the different assigned tasks that Jonah is in charge of. And now, when you use the people filter, you can set strict filter to distribute and see specific boards or specific users. So opening up the three-dot menu here, we're going to click on settings and scroll down to resource type. And so when it comes to filtering by person, in the past, you may have been restricted to one board at a time. Some of you may remember this feature where you have to toggle between all of your connected boards on a dashboard to select which person you'd like to filter into the workload widget view. Now you have the option to apply these filters all at once to all of the connected boards or one by one. So as you can see here, I can toggle between specific boards and specific person columns or people columns. And opening the quick people filter here, I can now filter by multiple individuals by clicking on their icons here. And coming very soon to this as well is a search bar, which will allow you to search by name or by job title. And in addition to this new update, in the past, if you selected a specific person, you may have also seen other assigned items where perhaps another colleague is also assigned, so where multiple people are assigned. But now with this new update, if I were to click on my name, I will only see the assigned tasks that are individually assigned to myself without the added colleagues in the person column. I'll exit out of that view. And staying in the realm of dashboards, I'd love to highlight the new Monday DB 2.0 release tied to dashboard performance. I'm going to toggle over to our MondayDB view here. And here you can learn a lot more about why MondayDB was built and all about MondayDB. But for those who are unfamiliar, it is our new data infrastructure behind our Work OS platform. It's designed to drive your best work. So think about MondayDB as the engine of your platform. It not only improves the speed at which your dashboards load, but will also allow you to build dashboards connected to bigger and better boards. So again, I encourage you to check out this page if you're curious about MondayDB and all of the new implementation and releases that our devs are working on. With MondayDB 2.0, our initial tests show a reduction in load time by 10 times, and in 2024, we plan to also expand the amount of items that you can connect to your dashboards, growing from 20,000 to 500,000 items, plus the number of boards that you can connect to your dashboards from 50 to 200 boards. We'll go back to our dashboard. And right now, you may still be operating out of the old dashboard infrastructure. You can expect to receive a pop-up on your dashboard if your dashboard can be upgraded to the open beta transition experience with MondayDB 2.0. And at any time, you can downgrade to the old infrastructure to continue using your boards as expected. As soon as MondayDB 2.0 is released to support all accounts, your dashboards will be automatically upgraded. So in this transition period, just anticipate a pop-up screen on your dashboard. And now we'll jump into the final feature release of this webinar. This feature will mostly interest the enterprise plan users in this session. Currently, admin users can grant or ungrant different user roles from the custom roles section. From there, admins can define who can create workspaces in the account. And when I say workspaces, we're referring to this panel on the left-hand side here. However, now, um, However, previously, my apologies, this was not an option to select whether your workspaces were open or closed by default, and this was a highly requested feature. Here you can see in my workspace that we are working out of a closed workspace, indicated by this lock icon here. And closed workspaces can only be accessed by team members via request or invitation. And it allows workspace owners to ensure that sensitive data is only shared with a select team. So now you can determine if a workspace is created as open or closed by default. So since we have the administration tab open, we'll stay here. Again, you'll click on your avatar icon as an enterprise admin user, open up administration, customization, and we'll stick to the features tab. You'll scroll all the way down, and at the very bottom, you'll see that there is a section titled Set Default Workspace Type. And of course, you have the two options, open or closed. And if you choose to select closed, now anytime that you create a workspace, let's go ahead and do this in real time, you'll see that it is created by default as closed. We will add a new workspace using this three dot icon there. And here you can see that it is by default closed. So no accidents necessary. Phenomenal. And before our Q&A session. I do want to quickly introduce our two apps of the month within the app marketplace. We'll head over to the app marketplace now by clicking on this puzzle piece icon here. For those who are unfamiliar with the app's marketplace, if you are looking to boost your experience or capabilities on monday.com, you can install a range of apps to do just that from the app marketplace. Using the search bar, I am going to search for Bird's Eye View, our first app of the month. Here it is. And in summary, Bird's Eye View can be used from your item page, a board view, or within your dashboard to create a mind map or a flowchart to visualize how work is interconnected across multiple boards. This app is another great tool to centralize your data in one place without the struggle of navigating different diagramming tools. Bird's Eye View makes it super easy to see how all of your items are related at a glance. And I think the app developers can do a much better job of demonstrating exactly how this app is taking us to the next level. So I am going to share the video here. Please let me know if you can hear the audio in the chat box.
In this video, you'll learn how the Bird's Eye View for monday.com can help your team. Bird's Eye View is for organizations with multiple teams and projects that use interconnected boards to manage them. When multiple teams work together, it's important to have a clear picture of the dependencies. Else, you'll notice a lack of ownership, poor prioritization, and unexpected delays. Usually, teams map these dependencies with a connect board column, but that's not enough. Let me illustrate this with a few examples from our research. A marketing agency has one board to list its clients and projects. This is connected to boards for every channel where they run these campaigns. Software teams use a main board to list out their features and connected boards for each team to manage their sprints. This approach might work in the beginning, but you'll quickly run into a challenge. A table view can only show one level of connection. The context and status around the connected item is still on another board. To see that, you open another tab. Constant switching between multiple boards and tabs can get really frustrating. What if you could see interconnected work across multiple projects on one screen? This is exactly what you get with the Bird's Eye View. Here you see items across multiple boards in the form of a tree. As you expand, you see groups under each board, items under each group, and then they're connected items from other boards. You also see sub-items in the same view. Unlike the Gantt view, the Bird's Eye View does not need dates in order to show dependencies. Let's see how to use this. Create a new dashboard in your workspace. Click on Add Widgets, and then More Widgets to search for the Bird's Eye View app from the marketplace. Install the app. Add boards to the dashboard. You should now see all your boards and their connected work items on one screen. We hope this connected map brings clarity to your team. Happy mapping!
Most people.
All right, we are in the home stretch. Let's go back to the app marketplace. Closing out the demo portion of our session today with the final app of the month. Let's go ahead and search. We have same item, multiple boards. Here it is. Okay. This app, I think many of us will be excited to check out and learn a little bit more about, as the name references. This app closes the gaps for cross-board management and tracking. Users can add the same item to multiple boards with changes reflected on native board columns. Right now, cross-board automation and integrations can be triggered with this app to update items across your boards. And most excitingly, also reflect the updates for your items. So if you have ever been frustrated in the past because your update section does not carry over to the next board, this app is just for you. It closes that gap. It helps to streamline the communication within your update section, along with other values or data tied to your columns. So again, I am going to let the devs take over to demonstrate this app for you.
Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how we can add the same item to multiple boards using our app SIMB, which stands for same item in multiple boards. So here I set 3 boards which are practically empty. The first one is all projects, then I have board 1 and board 2. I'm going to add a task to those boards. And here I will add task from project 1. Now let's say I want to see those 2 tasks in my main project here in the main board. I'm going to open board 1 and open one of the items. And here I'm going to add the SIMB item view. In this view I can see where my item also lives besides this board, and I can add it to other boards. So here I'm going to add it to all projects. I'm going to open it up, select a group, and add it to all projects. I'm going to do the same for board 2. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to add the item view. And I will be able to add it to my all projects. After you add the item to your other boards, you'll be able to see where it exists besides this board. So here I can see it exists in 2 places, in all projects and in board 2. So let's open all projects and I can see my 2 tasks from board 1 and board 2 inside one board. If I change the status to done, and here for example for working on it, I can go to board 1 and the status will change as well. The same for board 2. I can see the status was changed. If I'm going to change it from board 2, it will also sync in board 1. It's practically the same item. The same for updates. So you can post an update, and in board 2, you'll be able to see the item as well. It will also work for other columns like date and person. So this way you can sync items from multiple boards into one board and manage everything from one singular board.
Drinking coffee every day didn't work.
That I think is very exciting, especially as someone who dives into automations, cross-board automations, and dashboard workarounds. This app is really intriguing to me. But as a closing note, I do want to share that when reviewing apps, please review the pricing page if necessary. If you're considering budgets for your teams that you manage, you can review all of that within the apps page here, clicking on this 3-dot menu. And if you have any specific questions about the app, troubleshooting, how to set up the app, please also be sure to reach out to the developers directly. There should be here a contact developer or a support button that you can click to reach out to them, as all of these apps are created by third-party developers. If you have any additional questions outside of the app itself, like how to access the app marketplace, or perhaps you see that pricing is paid on monday.com, you can, of course, reach out to Monday support for further guidance. But with that, we've completed the demo portion of this session, and we'll be moving into the Q&A shortly. If you haven't already, please go ahead and add your questions to the Q&A box before we begin. I'm going to step away for just a minute to stretch, grab some water, so feel free to do the same in the next minute. I'll be back very soon. All right, I have grabbed my drink of water. I am back, and I do see a few folks referencing the videos that I showed. I am going to link them in the chat for you all if you'd like to replay them. I did see that some folks were hoping that they could slow down or rewatch the videos. So here is the link to Bird's Eye View. And I will share the link to same item, multiple boards. Okay, I am going to open up the Q&A box. I do see that we have quite a few. Earlier, I did catch a question from Jessica in the dashboard workload widget. Can you filter it down to 2 people, or can you only filter to 1 person at a time? So let me share my screen and take us back to the dashboard. Okay, so yes, so using the quick person filter, you can filter it down to multiple people, not just 1 person at a time. As I shared earlier in the settings, here, this is in reference to columns per board. So, for example, if I were to click all at once, this is the person column across all of the connected boards within your dashboard, and one by one allows you to filter by specific columns on specific boards. Right now, I have filtered this to only view my one board team tasks, so which is why you did not see those multiple sections there. All right, I'm going to go through the other questions that I see. Yes, so for those of you asking about the board discussion feature release, this is in gradual release. You should see that icon within the next 2 months as this feature hits all accounts on the platform. Okay, I'm seeing a question about my work. Will the due date option under the new task interface on my work be more flexible in the future? I only have the options for today and this week. So let's revisit this. Let me add a test item. Yes, so this is a great question, Hannah. As of now, they are strict to these options. You will have to toggle and customize that date specifically when it appears within my work. So from the jump, you are limited to these options, but that is a great feature request. And I will pass that feedback along to our devs. But for now, if I were to click on today, for example, I can further customize that date when it appears within my work. All right, let's see. Okay, so I have a question about work forms. Let's toggle back. Um, with forms, is it possible to have a form where I can in part complete it and then allocate the form to someone else to finish off? So if you were completing a form, let's go back to this form that I was completing. Um, I can save, the form will save if I were to exit this tab. For example, if you were to send it to a different user or a different person to complete, it won't show your saved responses. So in that way, I will have to say no if you're passing the form link that you are currently completing to a different user. Someone asked why Waukesha, Wisconsin was grayed out. I will go back. So I believe you are referring to this option here. So as you can see, the pop-up says this option is used in answers and cannot be renamed. So because I have an existing form response with that value, right, Waukesha, Wisconsin, I can't further edit or customize this as it already exists on my board. And yes, board discussions will be available to users on the Pro plan. It will be available across all
Hi,
plans.
Shannon. Sorry, it's Amir.
Yes.
Your screen is just showing the Zoom window, not the actual board.
Oh, my apologies.
Didn't see those last few demonstrations. Sorry about that.
Nope, nope. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, we are back on the same page. Okay, so to answer the question about Waukesha, Wisconsin, you'll see that this pop-up says this option is used in answers and cannot be renamed. So because I have an existing form response here with Waukesha, Wisconsin selected, I can't go back to edit this because I already have existing responses with that value that I would like to edit. And to answer the previous question, so if I were completing a form, let's say I go through and I select my warehouse, my manager, etc., but I want to pass this off to a different team member to complete. If I were to share this form link, it will not show my saved answers because it's specific to myself or my user profile that I am completing this within. So right now, there isn't a capability to pass off a form that I would like someone else to complete. Okay, let's see. Okay, I have some questions about MondayDB that I'm scrolling down to. Yes, so I see a question about updating. Will MondayDB also increase the refresh rate? So if you're looking at a board in one tab and the Gantt view in another, will this make a change in the timeline column in the board and also immediately update the Gantt view? So yes, along with increasing the amount of connected items and boards, the refresh rate will also um, update as well. For those of you that are curious or have questions about security, let's open up the app. I'm going to click on this app here. So there are different permissions here that state what the app developers do have or do not have access to. And if I go back, there should be a security and privacy policy. So if your IT department is requesting, for example, a terms of service, I would check out this link here for any app along with the privacy policy. So they can send over those terms of service if necessary. Okay. Thank you all for writing in to tell me that you could not see my screen. I see all of those now. Scrolling down. Okay, I have a question about MondayDB 2.0 and increasing the number of labels in a single select column, right? We would love to have more than 50. So MondayDB is more so concerned with how many connections related to items and boards, as well as the speed or performance of your boards and dashboards. So it's not necessarily tied to labels or specific values within a column, but I will note that um, I believe this might actually exist as a feature request in the community column, but I can check that for you. Um, Column labels 50 plus. I'm noting that down now. And I think I might have I am missing some of your questions here. I do see that we had a lot of work forms. Can an update be automatically added to another item on the same board based on a column field value? This question sounds like it is tied to the same item's multiple boards app. Um, I'm not sure if it can be tied to a common field value. I think it may be tied to the item name, but that would be a great question to redirect to the app developers. I see a question about the number of items on a board or dashboard within the enterprise plan. So increasing from 20,000 to 1 million. With MondayDB, by the second quarter, we will have the release for 500,000 items. I cannot confirm the date for 1 million items. That is on the product roadmap too, though, and it is coming in the near future, but I don't have an exact date or ETA that I can provide for that. Okay. We have about a minute left. Let me scroll back up. Um, Okay, I see a lot of board discussion questions. I think I answered those questions about the folks not seeing the icon. Work forms, date options, yes. Okay, I think I got to the majority of questions. If I did not, I apologize. We have about a minute left. But again, if I did not get to your question or Amir or Katie did not get to your question today during this session, please write in via chat or email at support@monday.com. I am going to pull up the community page for you all as well to check out. If you have any feature requests that you would like to share with us, clicking here, you can see all of the live feature requests that have already been submitted that you can upvote. You can see what is on the product roadmap, as well as share any feedback that you have with our developers. So with that, this concludes the January 2024 New Features webinar. Thank you all for attending. I hope that you have a great rest of your afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you are. You will receive a recording of this webinar soon within the next 3 business days. Thank you again. Bye.